Hey guys, it's Lisa with Forever Bloom. Here's a quick painting tutorial on how to paint the Hey There Pumpkin door hanger. So here's a picture of what it looks like before we paint it. I think I'm gonna use Deco Art's color Burlap, but I'm gonna use my color match for the background, and we'll stick with some blues and oranges and reds for this one. I'm going to go ahead and start color sorting. I'm going to paint the crows, the birds, black, and I'm going to paint the buttons a brown color. The nose, I'm going to probably use burnt orange. The flower will be white. Let me get another piece of painter's tape. And then the heart will be deep burgundy. I'm going to paint all these one color. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to use yet. I think this pumpkin will be white. This will be white. I'm going to paint the jean cuffs a lighter color than the jeans, but I'm not sure what color I'm going to use yet. So the hat, I think I'm going to do deep ochre. So we'll set that to the side. The legs are going to be like a 50-50. So I'm going to paint the bottom part burlap and the top part a darker jean color. This pumpkin's going to be burnt orange. That'll be a jean color. All right, so here's my color match to Deco Art's burlap. And I'm going to use a dauber, like I don't know what else to call it. I picked this up at Walmart. I ran out of rollers, so I thought I'd give this a try. Just because it's such a large surface, you could use a paintbrush, but I figured let's try something new. So I'm going to probably fast forward through most of this so you don't have to sit here and watch me apply burlap to the background. So stay tuned. All right, now I'm going to try and add burlap to his face. I didn't like using that sponge dauber, so I am going to, it like wasn't even, so I'm going to switch over to a makeup sponge. Make sure you go over his face lightly so you don't get paint down into the scoring lines. There, that looks good. All right, we'll put that to the side. Now I'm going to use deep burgundy from Deco Art and paint his shirt. You don't need to go all the way down like I did because his jean bibs will cover most of it. And this will definitely need more than one coat. And you only need to go halfway down his wrist because his mittens, or gloves, whatever you want to call it, will cover the rest. That's what I really like about these layered looks. All right. Let me fix my tape here or else it's going to drive me crazy. So those will be white. I'm going to use Mountain Mist for his jean, or for the letters and the jean cuffs, okay? And then I'm going to use Williamsburg Blue from Deco Art for the bibs and his jeans. Now remember, you only need to go down halfway into the cuff. And then we're going to use burlap to go over the feet. Add another layer of Mountain Mist to the letters and the jean cuffs. Another layer of deep burgundy to his shirt. And the heart. And I'm going to use light buttermilk for his hands and the flower. All right, I'm going to put a layer of light buttermilk on the hat and the hat brim just to give the deep ochre that I want to use a base layer so I don't have to put on so many different layers. Then we're going to go ahead and add another layer of Williamsburg Blue and burlap. And set those to the side. Then I'm going to use Mountain Mist and go over the jean cuffs and the letters once more. I'm going to go ahead and add another layer of deep burgundy to the heart, and now I'm going to use milk chocolate for the buttons. And I'm going to go over the border, that's on the bottom, with milk chocolate as well. Alright, I am using Warm Sunset for the nose, and then I'm going to use black, lamp black, from Deco Art for the crows. And we're using Warm Sunset for the pumpkin that the scarecrow is sitting on. And I apologize for not getting in the video, the camera view. My husband came home, and so I wasn't paying attention, for one. Apologize. And two, I'm doing a voiceover. Because he was busy talking to me and I was busy painting. Okay, here we go. We're going in with deep ochre. And then I'm going to use deep ochre for the beaks on the crows. And I'm using a paintbrush to apply the paint because it's such a small area. One more layer of deep ochre. Another layer of light buttermilk. We'll go over the scalloped or the border with milk chocolate. Now I'm just kind of laying everything out, make sure everything's covered good. Again, I'm sorry I'm not in the camera view all the way. But I'm just placing my pieces down, making sure everything is covered in paint good. There I noticed that in the middle of the pumpkin where his feet come together, there's an opening, so I just added some paint to that area. Clean up my workspace a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to use my Distressing Crayon Firebrick color to add cheeks. So I just use a blending brush. Just apply like you're applying blush to your face in circles. And then I'm adding his eyes. Just dotting some black paint in the score lines and moving the paint around until it fills up the circle. We'll add another layer of Warm Sunset. And another layer of deep ochre. All right, forgot to paint this guy. I'm gonna use light buttermilk. You don't need to paint the middle because the middle piece is the other layer. You can if you want. Painted the stem milk chocolate. Okay, we'll let that dry. Gonna go ahead and add another layer of light buttermilk to the pumpkin. Painting with makeup sponges. The paint goes on really thin and dries pretty quick, so I'm gonna get some more milk chocolate. All right, so I'm gonna start shading. I like to use the Royal Langnickel angle brushes from Michaels. This is a 3/8 inch or 5/8 inch angle brush. I just get the paintbrush wet, dab it on my baby wipe until I can see all the water kind of disappear or soak up, and then dip the corner of the angle brush into the paint and go around the edges. So I'm going to go around the burlap with milk chocolate. All right, here I am just using the jean cuff to kind of help myself gauge where to put the shading, the floating of milk chocolate so that it's at the base of the cuff. And I'm doing it again to the other side. I think that looks good. All right, so now for the jeans, I'm going to use zinc, and then I'm going to float zinc around the edges of Williamsburg blue. So his jeans. And then I'm going to use the cuff and go across the top. I think that looks good. And then we're going to repeat the same process on the other leg. I always move my piece around so that I'm comfortable painting. Make it less awkward. All right, I think that looks good. Set that to the side and let it dry. Here I am using black. I'm going to float just a small amount of black around his shirt. Okay, and then I rinsed out my brush and grabbed some milk chocolate, and I'm going to go over his hat and the hat brim. And if you've made it this far in my tutorial video, make sure to find me on Whatnot. I use the Whatnot platform to sell these DIY wood kits. I'm working on a website. I don't know when I will have it up and going, but if you check out my YouTube channel page, I will have a link to my Whatnot show. There is also a referrals link for any new buyers, and you get $25 credit if you sign up as a new buyer. And I don't know how long the $25 credit is going to last. It could change. It used to be $15, so just be aware. It's not a guarantee, but the referrals link will get you the latest deals. Here I am adding milk chocolate to the bottom of the brim. And make sure to hit subscribe. All right, so I rinsed out my brush, and now I'm going to float some deep burgundy on the bottom of his nose. For his jean cuffs, I am going to use Williamsburg Blue to float, to shade it in. And I apologize, I'm not in the camera view. I'm sure I'm having a very in-depth conversation with my husband right now. But you get the gist. All right, so I'm gonna go around the bibs with zinc. And all these paint colors are Deco or a color match that I got at Home Depot of the Deco Arts color. Okay, I didn't do the sides of the cuff. I just did the top and bottom, and I let that dry, and now I'm going in and doing the sides. When it's a small piece like that, I find that it's easier to do it that way. That way you're not taking paint off of the top or the bottom when you're doing the sides. So you can do it however you want. That's just a little tip and trick for me. And now I'm using milk chocolate, and I'm floating it around the white pumpkin. Floating definitely takes practice. I have good days and bad days. I'm self-taught. I'm not a professional painter. I'm sure you've heard me say that disclaimer in other videos, but I just recommend practicing. Don't give up. Definitely didn't look this good when I first started painting. So with the pumpkin, I am going to use deep burgundy. I'm going to float deep burgundy around it. So I really like if I'm painting anything orange, I really like to float around that object with a red color. I think it makes it pop. And on this pumpkin, you just need to get the sides because then you have that middle layer that's, you want to go around the middle layer. That's the 3D effect. The second layer of the pumpkin, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I'm constantly picking up my piece and taking a look at it just to make sure my float lines are even and look good. Okay. I went ahead and grabbed my dotting tool and added a dot to the heart and the birds. And here I am just placing everything together and making sure that it looks good. Highly recommend you do this before you start gluing anything together just to make sure everything looks good. All right, I did not float anything over the hands, so let's go ahead and go in with some milk chocolate. And I'm just gonna hit the tips of the fingers, the sides, and the wrist is all I'm just barely touching. All right, let's start putting this guy together. When I do the letters, since they're kind of a thin piece of wood, I like to put glue on my paint palette and use a makeup sponge, like a leftover makeup sponge, to apply the glue. I feel like there's less glue seepage when you do that. And then you just want to follow the engraving lines to line it up, and then I will pick it up and just look at everything and make sure everything is lined up good. And same with this, you want to line it up with the engraved lines. There's no engraved lines for the pumpkin, but you can line it up with the edge of the background. Let's make sure everything is lined up. There are engraving lines for the legs though, and make sure to put the bibs on first because it goes behind the legs to give him the effect that he's sitting on the pumpkin. Quickly add the other leg, just so if I need to move anything, I still can. Our glitter glue gives you a few seconds to move your pieces around. It's one of the reasons I like to use it. Adding the cuffs. Cleaning up some of my glue seepage. And then I just picked up the sign and looked at everything straight on. Add his hands, his mittens, gloves, whatever you want to call them. Art glitter glue also dries clear, so if you have a little bit of glue seepage, it's not the end of the world. On this scarecrow, he did come with spacers, so if you wanted to use raffia for his hair, you could. But I chose, for this version, not to do raffia. If you're interested in learning more of how to use the spacers and adding raffia, check out my other scarecrow face shelf sitter video, because I do that process with him on that one. Here, I'm just going to add the hat brim as is. He is not going to have hair today. Cute. And add the trim piece to the bottom. Just line it up to the top of the scallops. I know that you can't see it in the video. You will here in a second. And I apologize for that. Add his scarecrow to the top of his hat brim, and then the flower next. His heart goes on his leg. I'm going to add a bird to his arm. Cleaning up some glue. The smaller buttons go, you can either put them on the jean cuff, or like here, I put it on his feet. So it's your preference, however you want to put them together. It's up to you. And then the larger buttons go on his jeans. You can flip-flop them if you want to. If you want the larger ones to be on his feet, that's fine. This is how I put it together. This is just for inspiration. All right, and the larger bird is gonna sit down at on top of the trim and at the bottom of the pumpkins. And I'm putting a little bit of him on the orange pumpkin and a little bit of him on the white pumpkin. So only his beak and tail are really touching the door hanger. And here I am seeing if I wanted to add some burlap twine to his buttons. I played around with it for a little bit, but ultimately decided not to use it because it was too chunky. I don't have thinner jute. Yeah, so I gave up on that idea. And here I am trying to figure out what kind of scarf I want to give him. I'm indecisive sometimes. I was thinking maybe a fabric and then use that ribbon for the door, like the top of the door hanger, but ultimately I went with this ribbon for a scarf, so I just cut off a little piece. I took some twine, some jute twine, hemp twine, whatever you want to call it, kind of bunched up the ribbon in the middle and tied a knot. Made sure it was even on both sides and dovetailed it, kind of like a bow tie. And then I tied the string in a bow. It's like tied it like a shoelace, essentially. And I didn't like it. I thought it was too chunky. So I undid that. And here I am just playing with it. So I just kind of clipped the ends to match the dovetail, the middle of the dovetail. And I'm just going to leave it straight. And I used hot glue and glued it down. So he has a cute little bow tie. And here I am using, so I'm gonna make a bow with this ribbon. This ribbon I got from Hobby Lobby in the Christmas section. And this is how I like to make bows. I honestly hate making bows. I'm not that great at it, but this is what always seems to work for me. I just do like a Cancer loop, bend it in the middle, scrunch it down. You don't want to tie it too tight until you have both sides pretty even. And then I make a knot on the back side. I think that looks good. I'm tying it in like a shoelace and clipping. Decided I didn't like that, I guess. Then I'm going to use some twine and make the door hanger. I came in from the back, tied a knot. You can make it however long you want. So you could tie the bow on right here around the knot to hide it. Like that. And I'm just trimming the edges, and now I'm going to glue down the bow. Dovetail the ends. All right, and he is done.